Hi, everyone. My name's Carla, and I'm here on Speaking Your Future into Existence. Today, I'm going to be talking about the feelings that come with deciding to move abroad with small children. So, I know many of you don't know who I am, but this is going to be my new channel where I talk about how I have felt and the things that I have experienced as I've decided to move abroad. I know my first country that I have chosen finally is going to be Mexico. And I did initially a lot of research between trying to go to both Africa, the different countries in Africa, or should I start somewhere closer to the United States and get, more acclimated and then move further abroad. So ultimately, I decided to do what I thought would be best because I am starting off this new business and as well as I have very small children. And so, for those of you who don't know, I have a 3-year-old, a 4-year-old, a 5-year-old, and a 9-year-old son. And currently, I've been homeschooling them for over a year now. So, when it comes to moving, the fact that I already work remotely and I've been doing so for over 5 years, and that I have my sons that are homeschooled, there's nothing really holding me back. I have a plan of how I'm going to make my income abroad, and I know the areas in which I desire to live in Mexico, and I also know what the cost of living there is. Now, ultimately, my goal is to make more time for my children to be the mom that I want to be. So, to make more time to spend with them, less time working. And I'm finishing up my bachelor's degree right now. So, starting in August, the goal is to be starting my master's degree in psychology. So, that within itself is going to take time. I want to be able to pursue the things that I desire to accomplish in my life. And what I've noticed is, I don't know if it's just my family, but when it comes to moving abroad, there's not a lot of support. It feels like it's more of a taboo or something that's unheard of. But for me, when I'm looking at the reality of it is the United States is just extremely expensive. And while I have been making it out here, it has not came without its struggles. When it comes to childcare, that's not an option for me because of the cost of childcare and the fact that I have 4 children. And so that left the only option of being working from home because when I say that I'm a single mom, I don't have a real support system. My mom's already passed away and I don't have any brothers or sisters. It's literally just me and my boys. And so I am all they have and they are all I have. So it was going to be very important for me to know that the country that I chose to move to would have some safety and would have affordability, but also it would grant me the ability to have access to high speed or good internet because as a virtual worker, that is going to be very important in how I make my money. Now, when I talk to my oldest son, he's extremely excited about the move. He's ready to embrace the new culture, and I actually plan to do a video with him just so you can hear how he feels about everything and he can describe, what the process has been like. So, if I take a moment to tell you about where I am in the process, so I've done the research, I've spoken to moms and other creators that live in Mexico and Africa and different places in the world, and I've gotten their opinion and I've shared my plan with them and I've gotten the advice. Now, I've also done preparation. I've been savings. I have, a goal in mind of what I want to have as a backup fund, and I'm going to have that before we go. I know that I'm not going to be taking very much with us, just the suitcases. We're not taking a whole lot of furniture or anything like that because a lot of the rentals in Mexico come fully furnished, and if not, it would be much more affordable just to furnish them with the local items than versus taking all my items that I have here in America. I've also already applied for our passports. So that's a big thing because growing up, I never traveled with my mom. It was like a real struggle where she worked 2 jobs, she went to school, and I was the typical latchkey child. I let myself in the house, I did my homework at home, played video games. It was a different time back then. But for my boys, I do want to change the scenario. So I know we can't control how we grew up or the things that we've been through. but we can control how we raise our children, what they go through, and how we prepare them for life. So, one of the things that I believe is traveling out of country is a great life experience for children. It introduces them to new parts of the world, new cultures, languages, and ultimately it's just going to broaden their horizons. So, when they do get old enough to apply for a job, that's going to be experience they have when it comes to interacting with people of other culture and maybe even a second or third language. And I just think that it's going to be a wonderful experience, but I've already applied for our passports. And so right now I'm waiting for them to be sent. And once I receive our passports, we are ready to go. I've already, let go a lot of my items, whether it's been sold or I've just donated them and left it behind because I knew I wasn't trying to carry all of that baggage with me. And I've also found jobs where I can work from around the world, which is very important because I do need a source of income. I don't want to solely rely on savings because then it will become depleted. The point of savings is in case of an emergency. And I've, looked on Facebook Marketplace or, rentals and stuff, but I know what my goal is going to be to initially book an Airbnb or a rental for maybe a week or two, and then I'm going to go in person and look around because there's going to be a lot of deals that you can find that are not advertised online. And so that's one thing I've noticed a lot in my research. You can find really good properties at an extremely, what we would consider in America to be an extremely low rate. And so for me, that would be a big blessing. Now, ever since I was in high school, I've always wanted to travel around the world. So, in high school, in ninth grade, I quit band and I ventured into ROTC. And from there, um, I ended up just, graduating and becoming a mom my senior year. And then I went on to college at a 2-year university where I achieved my associate's degree while working. And I also had my CNA license from high school and my pharmacy tech license, which ironically propelled me into my future because initially I did work as a pharmacy tech for 3 to 5 years at different companies. And from there, you know, I had my children and I knew childcare was expensive and I just wanted a way where I could be at home more. So that's when I really did some research and I started discovering these work from home jobs. And that's how I got into the work from home industry, working remote where you have your home office, your desk, you need a quiet environment. And so that's one thing that has allowed me to pursue this as a mom of 4 boys. I always recommend having a plan ahead of time and having a backup fund, especially when you have kids, because anything can occur and it's more likely to occur when you have children. It seems like my boys, when I least expected, someone's always getting hurt, whether it was from running around and they fell or just, different things happen. Boys will be boys. But at the end of the day, I wouldn't go without them. They are my world. And so with this video, I know the feelings that I did experience, it was fear, the fear of the unknown initially. It was the support of my family, which I don't have still until this day. But I've realized that it's not about what anyone else thinks. You can't let other people project their fears onto you. You have to do what's best for you because if you don't, you're always going to wonder, what if I would have? And I don't want to be that type of person that wonders, what if? I also don't want to say, well, I will do it in the future because, guys, the future is not promised to anybody. That is the sad truth. It is reality. Any day could be our last day. So I want to start working on my goals now. I know what I want for my life. I know what I want to do, and I'm working to accomplish those. So, in moving to Mexico, it's going to allow me to start my goal of traveling the world, experience a new culture. Also, it's going to allow me to have an easier life, to have access to more of a community, whether it's an expat community, a single mom community, or just the locals. It's going to allow me to immerse myself and my children into a language, the language of Spanish. So while I know basic Spanish, my children really don't know any Spanish at all. And so that's one thing I do want to do out there is get them in some Spanish lessons, get them into the community, and get them learning the language because that is going to be a great asset for them as they get older. So, and another emotion that I felt was frustration. I was still going through my divorce when I made my final decision that yes, this is what I'm gonna do. No regrets. I'm gonna see what happens. And worst case scenario, it doesn't work out. I come back home to the United States. But I'm more of an optimistic person. I believe that no matter what I set my mind to, it will work out. So I feel like you can manifest anything that you want to happen and it will happen. It may not be when you want it, but it will occur because God is always on time, whether we realize it or not. You may want something at a specific time, but you're not ready for that blessing. So you have to work and prepare yourself to be able to receive that. And that's something I truly do believe because even looking at myself, from when I'm only 28 years old now, so I'm still young, but having my children, going through and overcoming a bad marriage has matured me a lot. And even, experiencing death of my mom at a young age, because she was my backbone, that has matured me. And so when I'm looking at all of the life decisions I have made, I can see the growth of my personality, the growth of who I was. I'm a completely different person than I was 5 or 6 years ago. Um, I look at life completely differently. Now, I'm not to say I wasn't responsible back then because I've always, I've been responsible since I've had my children. I've worked, I've taken care of them, but my outlook and perspective on how the world works has changed greatly. And so I realize that hardships are just a part of life. Whether I'm here in America or Mexico, wherever I travel, there may be hardships, but the goal is to live my life on my terms. And so that's what moving to Mexico is going to allow me to do. So just to summarize all of the feelings I felt fear. I felt frustration with the divorce process and, you know, trying to get it into the divorce decree that I have full custody of my children and I want to be able to get their passports, which I was successfully able to do. Getting all the documents together to apply for passports. Um, just being prepared in my research and getting those extra copies of those birth certificates and then applying to get them translated to Spanish with the official seal. I think it's called apostille. That way, if I do decide, hey, I don't want to homeschool in Mexico, I have options to get them into school because from my research, I've heard that that is a requirement. And then starting the temporary residency process, first thing is you have to make the required income. So that was a motivator for me, when I had my remote job, I was always volunteering for overtime. Like I know my goal, I know where I'm trying to go, and I know what I have to do to achieve this goal. So I worked and I worked and I worked. And so meeting that income requirement and having the appointment set, knowing I have the documentation needed, that's just a relief for me. And my next step is to complete the canje process. Sorry if I said it wrong, in Mexico. And after that, just, exploring the different parts of Mexico, because Mexico is really big. So initially I thought about moving to PV, but then I know cost of living can be a little bit higher. And again, my goal for moving was to lessen the burden of financials, to be able to live a good life on a lower budget while I raise my children, finish my education, and help them along the way in finishing their education as well. So therefore, I've done I did more research and then now I'm considering either Playa del Carmen or Merida. And so I've heard a lot of great things about all of these places and I'm just ready to get the process going and I'll be uploading more content videos about how, the feelings have changed and what I have experienced. And once I'm there, of course, I'm going to show you the areas that we're in. And I just believe that this is going to be a great experience for me and my children. And I urge any other, parents, whether single, married, if you want to experience a new culture, a new way of life, don't put it off. I mean, for me, I don't believe you have to wait until your children are gone. I think it's great to take your children along with you. So, let them experience the world, have a more comfortable level of lifestyle, but always have a plan. Be prepared, because it seems like in life, when you're not prepared, that's when things occur. So you always want to be prepared. But I know that in the end, everything will work out as long as you have a good mind, a good level head, you're prepared, you have a plan, and you believe that you can accomplish your goal. And so I just wanted to talk to you guys for a few moments and let you know about my plans and how things are moving along. In other videos, I'm going to be continuing to tell you about the process, the feelings, the emotions I'm having, how I'm continuing my college, higher education online. I'm planning to start my master's degree. I'm going to be talking about the remote work options that I have found, sharing some links in my at the bottom of my videos. And I've also created a website to where if you have any questions, you can um, pay a small fee to pick my brain for 30 minutes, and I'll answer and give you as much information as I can. Um, Whereas I am still new to the process, but I've done research for over a year now and I've collected a lot of information. But I'll also talk about some of it in my videos. But if you want that one on one session, feel free to book. And I also have my calendar link on my website where it shows the available appointments. And you can also donate if you find this information useful to you, or even if I motivate you to chase after your life goals. It may not be moving abroad, it may be moving to a different state, maybe leaving the job that you're with and pursuing self employment or starting your own business. But I want you to know that you're more than capable of doing what you want to do with your life. Don't put it off in the future, because again, the future is not promised to anybody. Any day could be our last day, so I urge you to start that process now. And it's been really great talking to you guys. I hope you decide to follow and subscribe and show your support. um, I'll be posting more content, and I'm just really excited to develop this community and tell everyone about my process and everything I've experienced. All right, it's been nice talking. Remember, subscribe, follow me, look for notifications. I will be uploading new videos. Visit my website, send me some comments, tell me what you think. You can even post on YouTube and tell me what you think of the videos, like them, you know. I'm looking for feedback. I want to make improvements, but I am ready. And I just, wish everyone a good day. And I want you to remember that you are more than capable of doing anything that you desire. You just have to have the right mindset and be prepared. All right. Bye, guys.